Hello and welcome to another video. Sorry, it's been 3 months since I last recorded. Or last posted. I don't know when I last recorded is because I don't write down the recording date, I write down the posted date. I don't really have an excuse this time. Just pure laziness. I'm a lazy person. Today we are reading His Reasons by AshleyH713. We are currently on Season 4, Chapter 11. I'm going to try and read Chapter 11 and 12 today. Well, in this specific recording session, I'm going to do multiple recordings today because I want to get a whole bunch done while I have the energy and motivation to do so. So, got a fresh thing of water, 'cause this is gonna get tiring. I may at some point go get like an energy drink or something because it's late and I started going to bed at 9 rather than 12. And now my body has adjusted to that. Well, more like 10:30, but still. Sorry. I'll begin now. Groaning to herself, Amari rolled to her side, only to fall onto the floor below her. She hit her back before muttering again, now going to rub her sore elbow, only to find her hands and feet bound together. That's when everything crashed into her all at once. Alright, she was willingly captured by Chisaki in order to get closer to Eri. Although Amari didn't predict one of his minions had an electric quirk, who knew how long she was out for? Just then, Endeavor's gruff voice echoed in her ear, getting her attention. Finally, it's about time you gained consciousness, Bakugo. Frowning back, she surveyed the room and found 3 security cameras watching her, although they seemed to be visual only, given there were no speakers attached to the objects. That would make things tricky, but not impossible. She turned her face to the wall before answering the man, knowing that the camera wasn't picking up her words or mouth movements. How long was I out? The girl waited a couple seconds before he responded back. 2 hours, so now we are already behind. What are the surroundings? Widening her eyes, Amari cursed at herself before trying to wiggle her bound hands behind her back and activating her quirk, only to be met with a sharp amount of pain. Well, that wasn't good. Nothing really yet, although I can't use my quirk. I think these cuffs are some kind of suppressor. It hurts when I even try. This is gonna take forever. She tried to test the theory again, only to meet the same amount of pain before withdrawing. Yep, definitely a quirk suppressor. Maybe if she pushed harder. Endeavor seemed to hear her groans of pain as he replied back authoritatively. Bakugo, stop trying to break it. It isn't going to work. You're going to kill yourself before you even start. As long as the cuffs are in full condition, you won't be able to use your quirk. Amari stopped then, sighing to herself as she muttered back. Alright then, what do you suggest? She waited for his reply. The first thing you need to keep an eye out for is Chisaki. No matter what you do, don't engage with him. The girl opened her mouth to reply, only to hear the sound of slight footsteps enter the hallway before stopping outside her door. Well, that wasn't good. Sorry, phone notification. Turning around, she heard his voice first, whispering back to Endeavor quietly. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. He answered back shortly as the door to the prison started to creep open. And why is that? Although he soon got his response as Chisaki's voice entered his ear, causing the man to shut his mouth. He was in her cell now. Oh, crap. Well, look what we have here. Frowning back, Amari struggled to stand, but found it hard with the cuffs around her feet and hands. And look who we have here. It's Mr. Big Bird himself. Chisaki raised a confused eye as the girl continued. Oh, you probably don't know who that is. Well, it's this really popular children's TV show in America about this giant yellow bird, and just then she shut her mouth before shrugging back, clearly enjoying the danger she was in. You know what? Never mind. If you don't get the reference, then you won't get the joke. She laughed to herself when one of Chisaki's men kicked her in the stomach, causing the girl to groan in pain, shutting her up all at once. Shut up. Don't you understand the situation you're in right now, girl? Moving to sit up again, Amari frowned back before narrowing her eyes in anger. I'm only going to ask this once. Where is Eri? Because I'm here to take her away from you. The villain looked at her for a moment before chuckling to himself. Not even gonna try. Do you really think you're in a position to make such demands? What did you plan to accomplish by trying to raid this facility? Staring back, Amari took a breath of courage before beginning her lie. He needed to believe she came here herself. Those heroes wouldn't put me on the team to get her back, so I decided I'd do it myself. They keep dragging their feet, so I wanted to take action. Endeavor echoed through her ear again. Good. Don't oversell it. She watched Chisaki's reaction, only for him to narrow his eyes in skepticism. That wasn't very smart of you. Did you honestly believe you could do all of that yourself? Shrugging to herself, Amari replied as she lied smoothly, leaving in some truth to make it more believable. Recklessness has always been in my nature, and don't be mistaken, I will get Eri back. You just don't know it yet. And then Endeavor and those heroes will finally recognize me. At the hero's name, the man turned his head in interest. Is that so? Amari groaned then, wiggling her wrist before answering back. Now let's get off my life story and cut the crap, Chisaki. I know what you're trying to do to Eri, and I won't allow it. So sorry for the drink noises. His face fell then, before pulling on to the end of his gloves, now clearly annoyed. Of course, you would disapprove. Given you are All for One's pet, I wonder how he dealt with you. At the man's name, Mari's eyes widened before hissing back and pulling her restraints. Screw you! Don't call me that. I am no way that man's damn pet. Although, Chisaki only shook his head. How pitiful. Still rejecting what you are. Are you trying to save Eri in order to clear your own conscience? The girl's face twisted then into something of confusion and a small mix of fear. What the hell are you saying, Big Bird? I'm not trying to clear anything. What would I even need to clear? At that, the man froze, his eyes casting down in realization. Oh, that's right. You don't remember. Widening her eyes once more, Mari lunged forward in anger, knowing that he was playing with her. This man knew something about her past, something unpleasant. He was using it to toy with her, and it was pissing her off. I don't know what emotion to give on this one, but I'm not being too loud. You know what? I'm over your shady words. If you plan to kill me, then just do it already so I don't have to listen to your condescending voice anymore. Endeavor's voice entered her ear again, this time slightly angry at what she was doing. Bakugo, he's baiting you. Don't give him any ideas. Although, just as he said that, Chisaki reached down and grabbed Amari's shirt with his gloved hand, lifting her off the ground in a threatening manner. Then he replied back, cold and cruel. Maybe I should. I wonder what kind of face those heroes would make if I placed your corpse on their front steps. Endeavor's prodigy, ending someone that important, is certainly tempting. He expected her to shake in fear underneath him, to plead for her life like any normal person would do, but instead he was met with determined eyes, and a smooth reply. Go ahead. Do it, then. It was like she was challenging him. Coaxing him to actually kill her. Of course, what else was expected from All for One's creation? She was interesting, that was for sure. Chisaki then pulled off his gloves, using his teeth before raising his hands towards Amari in a threatening manner, expecting the girl to break her calm demeanor, although that never happened. It was like she wanted him to kill her. Back at the agency, Deku listened with fear as the line became silent. Mari-chan wasn't really going to let herself be killed like this, right? Why was she doing this? With his body shaking, he called out to Endeavor, who was listening with extreme concentration. Endeavor, shouldn't we do something? Chisaki is really gonna kill her. Although Todoroki's father only shook his head before replying shortly. That child is an idiot, but she knows what she's doing. There is a reason we agreed to send her. Deku's eyes widened with confusion before hearing Chisaki chuckle through the hidden wire. Slight amusement in his voice as he let Amari go. The girl dropped to the ground. Smiling back, the man spoke. Smart girl. You already knew I wouldn't kill you. That you are too valuable to dispose of. Very impressive move. Mari groaned at the sensation of her body hitting the ground before answering back with a small smile. You are easy to read, Big Bird. So you want to keep me to yourself, then? Chisaki took a step forward then, his voice ringing out with a sort of authority to it. Yep, that's what that says. Oh, no. I have no need for a pet. But why would I dispose of you when I have All for One's creation in my possession? Do you know how many villains want your head because of your little decision to trick them? May I tell you, the list is infinite. Frowning at his words, the man then leaned down before grabbing her chin with his gloved hand to make her look at him. Using you, I'll be able to fund the rest of my research. Research that is now made possible because of your foolish pride. The words echoed in her ears before Amari answered back with slight fear in her stomach. You're gonna sell me? I didn't know you were into human trafficking. Nodding back, the man smirked. If that's what you want to call it. Regardless, I really should thank you. You've given me a wonderful opportunity, Bakugo. Then he let her chin go before standing once more, towering over her small frame with absolute authority. Was he really going to sell her to some revenge-hungry villain? That didn't sound pleasant. Seems like she had another thing to worry about now. Amari narrowed her eyes at the man before scoffing back. You must be crazy if you think I'm gonna let you sell me like some sort of prized object. Screw you, Chisaki. Although the man didn't seem intimidated in the slightest, only smirking from the doorway. It seems you don't realize that you put yourself in this situation, Bakugo. I'm just taking advantage. Dude, if the audio doesn't work on this one, I'm gonna be pissed. I just thought I didn't test the audio prior to recording this. So I'm hoping it's working. Although the man didn't seem intimidated in the slightest, only smirking at the... Yeah, we read that. Okay. Then, without a word, the man left, slamming the door behind him and locking the surface with a loud click. She heard his footsteps start to disappear before turning, muttering under her breath. Wow, that guy loves to hear himself talk, huh? Talk about an ego. I think he's even worse than Katsuki. She laughed to herself, but Endeavor didn't seem to enjoy her joke, just sighing heavily. Please stop being so reckless. Challenging a villain to kill you isn't the way to go about this. Mari only shook her head at that, a small smirk on her lips now. Aw, were you worried about me? Deku watched as the hero closed his eyes in a groan. Obviously over her attitude before replying. Don't make me regret sending you, Bakugo. Rolling her eyes in response, Mari sighed. Sorry, just trying to make light of the situation. So, what's the plan? I can't get to Eri like this. I don't even have a quirk. I never thought of better words for a moment before Sir Night-Eye interrupted them, now taking the microphone from his grasp. Don't proceed with anything until we fully know your surroundings. Your meeting may have been unavoidable, but we don't want any more surprises. His harsh words jumped around in her brain before speaking back in a confused manner. And that means? Oh, I spilled water. Damn. Just then, Todoroki's father took hold of the microphone again before clarifying. It means stay put, Bakugo, and don't do anything stupid. Can you hear what is happening outside my door? Dad's like watching a TV show, and it's really loud. Amari frowned at that. I'm offended. I would never. Although Endeavor only raised an eye at her words, recalling her behavior only a moment ago. May I remind you of the Hosu? The incident, or the internship you got expelled from, or barging into a certain marriage interview uninvited. Or 5 seconds ago, when you invited our target to kill you. At that, the girl shook her head, harshly cutting him off. Okay, I get it. I'll stay put for now. But doesn't that mean this is going to take a lot longer? I thought we said we'd begin the raid tomorrow. Endeavor then looked at Sir Night-Eye, who only sighed. You're correct, but I'd rather make sure, for your safety, as well as the child's. Now that we know Chisaki has plans for you as well, we can't be reckless. Our team was assembled a plan over here while you keep watching your surroundings. Our team will assemble a plan over here while you keep watching your surroundings. Make note of anything you can use, but don't take action until I say so. Understand? His plan sounded beyond boring. Mari, over her role of a damsel in distress already. She wanted action. Not to just sit around, but of course, if it meant Eri's safety, then she'd have to stand by. I don't like it, but I understand. Sir Night-Eye nodded his head at her compliance, before turning to the other UA students watching the scene. You all can return for today, go to your normal classes as scheduled, and don't reveal any information about this case. We don't want Chisaki finding out about Ember being a spy. It will ruin the operation and endanger her life. The students looked at Endeavor in apprehension before walking away, all except Deku, who stayed for a moment more. Endeavor, I'm worried about Mari-chan. Chisaki said those villains want her. What if we're too late and... Although he was cut off by the man's gruff, deep voice. It's never gonna happen. It had an amount of authority to it, like Deku's words made him angry. We won't be. Talking like that will only install doubt. That child will come back. She's too stubborn for anything else. The boy's eyes widened at the hero's response, his face now curling up into a small smile. You really believe in her, don't you? I changed voices somewhere. That's the wrong voice. Endeavor paused for a moment before turning away and answering shortly. I don't know what you mean. Change voices like it doesn't change every time I say a line. Yet the green-haired boy wasn't fooled in the slightest. He knew that hero cared for Amari in some way or another. Why else would he get so upset about the idea of her failing? If only she was here to see it. It's okay. I do. It changed again. It got slowly and slowly way different than how I originally started doing Deku's voice. It's just, I don't understand. The hero remained silent then, as Deku decided to take his leave, already knowing that Bakugo was in good hands if Endeavor was there. Something told him that Todoroki's father would look out for her. Once he was gone, the number one hero focused back on his earpiece only for Amari to yawn back loudly. You know, Endeavor, since this is going to take a while, you can just go home. It's not like anything will happen right now. She yawned again, only to get a response almost immediately. I'm not leaving, Bakugo. Not until this is over. Amari narrowed her eyes at that before feeling a small bit of happiness in her chest. Was he looking out for her? That's what it seemed like. Alright, but it might be boring. Her voice had a level of sarcasm to it, the girl not getting a reply, but instead a low grunt. She supposed that meant he was staying with her. She didn't know why, but the action made her feel a bit more safe. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. Staring at the dull plain walls, Amari then sighed to herself before thinking about a way to get airy. The ominous quiet ran a sharp chill through her body as she recalled Todoroki and her brother's last words. The girl couldn't deny that she really missed them right now. She felt the need to hug her body in comfort, but found it difficult with the restraints. The girl felt really far from home now. But she also knew that they believed in her, which meant she couldn't get discouraged. Now was not the time for that. The next morning came, and as Deku entered the classroom, he shared a look with the rest of the kids on a work study, now lowering his eyes. But it was obvious that the aura in the room was tense, given that one of their friends was held captive by villains while they were forced to pretend like everything was normal. It honestly was eating everyone up inside. But no one felt it worse than Deku. He was a nervous wreck. The boy wanted to believe in Mari-chan, but found it hard when she was so close to danger. On top of that, he couldn't tell anyone about it. This felt like torture. Sitting down at his desk, the green-haired boy breathed out a sigh of anxiety when suddenly someone blocked his view. Okay. Midoriya, is it alright if I speak with you? Deku looked up only for his stomach to drop. Standing in front of him was one of the only two people he hoped not to talk to today. It was Todoroki. Yeah, of course, Todoroki. What's up? It just changes every sentence I say. I can't do a Deku voice or any deep voice in general. I should take some voice acting lessons or something. The boy remained silent for a moment before answering back, low and quiet. I was wondering if you knew anything about Amari. It seems she's absent today, and I haven't heard from her since yesterday. There was the one question Deku was afraid of. He already knew he couldn't tell Todoroki anything about the mission, never mind tell him that his girlfriend was willingly with villains. Deku knew better than to mention that little detail. Trying not to make his voice waver, the boy replied back with a slight shake. I'm really sorry, Todoroki. I really wish I could tell you, but Sir Night-Eye made us promise not to tell anyone about the case. The boy stood there for a moment before narrowing his eyes in confusion. Yes, keeping the case secret seemed normal, but the fact that Amari wasn't even in school today concerned him greatly. Why had everyone else returned but her? I understand, but you also have to understand my concerns, Midoriya. I just need to know if she's okay. Deku was about to ease his worries before he stopped himself once more. Was she okay? Because saying so seemed like a complete lie. Todoroki twisted his brow in concern before the boy spoke again, this time with a bit more confidence. I wouldn't worry, Todoroki. Mari-chan is with Endeavor, right? Although that didn't make the boy any more at ease, grimacing back. That's exactly why I'm worried. I still can't trust my old man at all, regardless of what Amari claims. The green-haired boy's face fell then, thinking back to Endeavor's words regarding Mari-chan. Deku didn't know why, but it felt like the man would protect her. I don't know. I don't know a lot about your father, but when I talked to him, he seemed to care about her. Turning his eye in confusion, Todoroki processed his friend's words before replying back softly. I would really like to believe that, but I'm still conflicted about everything. She tells me to trust him as well, but I still find it difficult given past experiences. Deku nodded his head absent-mindedly, knowing a little bit of Todoroki's childhood, but not much, although just the stuff he overheard at the sports festival was enough to slightly understand. I can imagine. It changes every time. I don't understand how I can't just stick to one voice for Midoriya. I mean, at least with Todoroki, it's still like a similar voice. Endeavor still has like a similar voice. They're very, practically the same. But Midoriya's just changes every time I try to do a Midoriya voice. Todoroki remained silent for a moment before realizing they had gotten off track from the original conversation. He wanted to fix that. Regardless, I need to know if she's okay. Please, Midoriya. As he pushed deeper, Deku started to look around nervously for help as Todoroki then tried to recruit someone else to his cause now. Calling back to Amari's brother. Bakugo, aren't you worried about her as well? Katsuki sprung to life at his words, now turning around from his seat in annoyance. Keep me out of this, Icy Hot. That's not quite right, but whatever. His response was certainly strange, and usually Deku would have bet Kachan would have been the first to grill him about his sister's whereabouts, but somehow he seemed calm and unbothered. It seemed to concern Todoroki as well, now stepping forward with confusion. That doesn't sound like you at all, Bakugo. Usually you'd be the first to ask about Amari, and Katsuki cut him off. Almost immediately, though. Shut up, I already said, leave me out of it. Remember why I like reading this story so much? It's because I sound like an idiot. He then turned back around, seemingly confused Todoroki even more, now pushing further. But, Bakugo, aren't you worried about her? Now that voice is changing too. This is gonna take forever. At that, Katsuki's hair stood on the back of his neck, a small bit of anger etched in his throat as the boy turned back around sharply. He was yelling now, startling the whole class. Of course I am, you idiot! I'm not actually gonna yell, it's never gonna happen. Maybe. Bakugo immediately shrunk back into himself a moment later, his voice lowering down an octave and slamming his fist on the desk. But I can't do a damn thing about it, and it pisses me off, so just drop it, Icy Hot. I don't want to think about it. Deku and Todoroki then shared a glance before Todoroki spoke back, slow and quiet. Why do you say that? Staring at the floor, Katsuki then caught sight of his sister's present and lightly touched the surface of the bracelet before replying. I've been such a dumbass with her in the past. I already said I would let her do this herself, and if I go back on that, then I'll just be fucking up our relationship again. Todoroki took in his words, now thinking about the meaning. It wasn't that Bakugo didn't care about his sister, it was more like the boy was worrying about her internally instead. He really wanted to fix the relationship, and Todoroki knew that stepping back couldn't have been easy for the boy. He was trying to get her to trust him again. It was something he knew all too well. Todoroki sighed then, letting his eyes cast away in reply. I apologize, Bakugo. I misread your actions. I'm sure you want to know as much as me, right? The boy didn't get a reply, though, only watching Bakugo grumble in response before turning back around. That damn nerd was making him think of Amari again, and Katsuki hated it. He hated not knowing what she was doing, or if she was safe. It was honestly eating him up inside, and that guy just had to stir up his feelings. Everything about this was pissing him off. Just then, Aizawa came into the room and saved Deku internally from having to answer either of the boys. It seemed like Todoroki wasn't about to quit anytime soon, also. Alright, everyone, get to your seats. Todoroki reluctantly complied as the boy breathed a sigh of relief, happy to be done with the conversation for now. It hurt him to lie to his friends, but he really had no other choice right now. Hopefully all of this would be over soon. Amari let out a a heavy sigh, as her muscles began to cramp from the metal cuffs around her ankles and wrists. Having to wait for confirmation of the plan was making her restless. Knowing that Ari was in the very same building made her want to break free even more, although Endeavor's stern warnings from time to time stopped her. That image is just really funny. She's sitting there and just every so often she's like, I could break out of this and save Ari. And Endeavor just knows she's thinking it and is like, don't even think about it. It's a really funny idea to me. Just Groaning to herself, she whispered back to the man on the other end. Endeavor, I've been observing my surroundings for hours. Guess what? It's still the same gray wall. She heard him sigh back, as if in exasperation. I did it. Bakugo, you can't act unless we figure out a way to get you out of the cell undetected. So unless you have one of those, stop complaining. Amari rolled her eyes in reply. Yeah, I know, but it's hard when I don't have anything to work with. Just then, a couple of Chisaki's men walked by her cell before stopping in front of the door, as if to gossip. Amari couldn't help but listen in as well. That's her. That's the girl that Boss has been interested in. Although it seems he's having trouble getting any offers. So people don't actually want her that much. Looking into the window, the man took one look at the girl before replying. Why is that? Isn't she supposed to be connected to All for One? He nodded back before pointing towards Amari, who just stared at him blankly. Yeah, but have you seen her? No one believes that she's really capable of those rumors. I kind of see why, though. It seems impossible for her to be that powerful with a body that small. It's like a stab to the heart. Yeah, small. Amari only frowned at his comment. Just great. Even as a prisoner, no one believed that she could be successful. It was always the same, no matter where she was. Why is it so hard to not underestimate her? Just then, the girl got an idea as the man started to leave. She wanted to run it by Endeavor, but found it hard given that they were so close to earshot. Mari didn't want to mess up this new possible opportunity. She needed to get out of the cell somehow. It seemed the girl finally figured out how, now finding something to work with. Taking a deep breath, Amari then channeled the best person she knew for her plan to work. Someone that always knew how to command a room, no matter the results. Someone that made everyone pay attention to him, good or bad. Her brother. Amari tightened her fist before calling towards the man loudly. Hey, asshat! What the hell did you say about me? That got their attention, now turning to the girl who continued her best Kotsky impression. I will gladly kick your ass anytime, any place, just name it. As her voice rang out, Endeavor entered her ear, clearly confused at her plan. Bakugo, what are you doing? But she only remained quiet, as one of the men turned their head in amusement. What did you say, child? Narrowing her eyes in response, Amari smirked. You heard me. Go ahead and tell your boss that I will show him just how serious I am. You should know that underestimating me is a big mistake. I know for a fact I could kick your scrawny ass with ease. The two men looked at each other, then before replying smoothly. Now, taking a small key out of his pocket to open her cell. You better watch your mouth, girl. Although Amari didn't watch her mouth. In fact, she kept talking. I'm sorry, did I hurt your fragile little ego? Maybe you should fix yourself first before you try and shit on me. She laughed to herself, only to see the man step into her room before towering over her. You're gonna regret that. Just then, her heart dropped into her chest, realizing she went full Bakugo as she whispered back. She whispered back nervously. Oh no. And then, before she could proceed, the man had punched Amari across the face, causing her to tumble to the ground in a heavy thud. Endeavor's voice rang in her ear loudly as she groaned back. Bakugo, what's happening? What did you do? Shaking her head, the girl spit out a small bit of blood before glaring back at the man. You want to fight? Fine. Let me go so you can see how much damage the small girl can really do. That didn't please the man, though, reaching up and grabbing her shirt roughly as hot breath blew in her face all at once. Say that again, girlie, I dare you. His fist reached up again, and Amari closed her eyes as if to wait for impact, and Shizaki's voice stopped them all at once. Why are you disregarding my orders? I thought I expressed that I wanted Bakugo unharmed. The man tensed up before dropping the girl at once, now turning to his boss to explain himself. Sorry, boss, but the girl was threatening us. Rolling herself over, Amari then smirked herself, knowing she had them right where she wanted them. That's right, and I'd do it again. How dare you assume that I'm a weak little kid? How about you stop hiding behind a handicap of me being tied up and let me out of here so I can show you a real fight? Her words struck a chord with Chisaki, now gaining an idea from them all at once. Now that you mention it, perhaps a little demonstration will be ideal for our possible investors. Mari's face fell then, giving a look of horror when in actuality she was trying to hide a smile. That's it. Take the bait, Chisaki. What? And take the bait he did as the man crossed his arms over his chest, now seemingly pleased with his plan. Very well. I'll take you up on that offer, Bakugo. That way everyone will be able to see All for One's pet in action. Insulting. Grumbling at the nickname, Chisaki then clapped his hands before turning back toward the door and leaving. He was so sure of himself, so smug. It was like he didn't even know she was playing with him. Hopefully it stayed that way. Once he was gone, she immediately heard Endeavor in her ear speaking loudly with annoyance. Bakugo, what did you just do? Rolling her eyes, Amari looked towards the wall before smirking. I just gave us away to check out of the facility undetected. Chisaki will take me to fight somewhere, and while I'm being escorted, I can get a look at the layout of this place. Hopefully, we will be able to determine the location of Eri as well. He didn't seem like the man was pleased, though, sighing back. It seems your reckless nature has returned. Do you even realize what this means? You just signed yourself up to fight whatever Chisaki wishes. Who knows how dangerous this could be? I spilled water again. I need to get a different cup. Later. Shrugging back, Amari replied, Endeavor, I'm tied up in a villain's hideout. I'm pretty sure this is dangerous already. It's fine. I can take whatever he throws at me. That's not what's important right now. Finding Eri is. Endeavor then looked over at Sir Naidai, who seemed to be in silent thought before replying for the hero. It might be able to help us determine the child's location, so I support the plan. Besides, she won't die here regardless, so the risk is acceptable. Fair enough. Smirking response, Amari coaxing back. See, it's fine then. Now, can we speed up the process? Yes, he said that, but somehow Endeavor got an anxious feeling from the hero's words. That man had been into Amari's mind, which meant he knew her future past this point. Sir Naidai already said the rescue plan would be successful, so he had no choice but to agree as well. Although he couldn't help, but still feel uneasy about everything. For some reason. Okay. This is long. I'll read chapter 12 in another video, because I need to get a different water cup, because I keep spilling that one. And more water. I need to fill it up. Maybe an energy drink. Nah, I'll wait until later for that. I am sorry about the voices. Specifically my voices being terrible when trying to voice act characters. I don't know why I keep trying to voice act the characters when I know it's never gonna sound good. I don't know what I expect. There was something else I was gonna say. I'm really hoping the audio worked on this one, because I didn't check it before I started recording. And if I just went through, 40 minutes of recording without audio, Yeah, I can't voice over my videos. I don't got editing skills. That's why you hear all of my weird whispers and laughs and... Yeah, well, if you can hear the whispers, I don't know. I whisper mid-video about stupid shit. Like the weird voices I do when trying to voice act. I assume the mic is close enough to me that you can hear it, but I guess I've never really checked. Also, if at any point I went from quiet to loud, so you had to change your volume and broke your eardrum, I'm sorry. I am working on the volume control. I haven't used the mic in 3 months. I don't remember where it sits via sound, so yeah. I want to get another monitor so I can have like one for reading and like a picture of Amari or something up there. That way I don't have to be staring up, because currently my screen is high up on the wall, so I strain my neck looking straight up. It was my choice, so I don't know, I was an idiot. I also wasn't originally doing any kind of YouTube things when I put the screen up there. I just wanted it so I could watch, I don't know, some probably like kids cartoon while going to sleep, of which I still do, though it is now other YouTube videos like Mark and Jack, you know, the ones that somehow cause a sense of calm. It's nice. I'm rambling now. My apologies. I will end the video before I bore you all to death. You will hear me in the next video. Bye-bye.